Dave Thompson. So I first went to Mentel in April 2022, having asked my GP for support following the death of our eldest son, George. George Thompson was our son. He took his own life in October 2021, having battled what he called thunderstorms. These thunderstorms were with him from around the age of 15, which was when he first spoke to us about having thoughts of taking his own life. We thought it was exam stress, but he got through school and he got through his A-levels with great success, and he just started a job with a building firm, and it was 2 months, 3 months after his 18th birthday that he took his own life. He was everything you would wish for. God, he was. I'd been to Stockport County with George a few times and his brother Will when they were very young. But they started to go a lot more when they were around 13, 14, going with their mates. So I went to the odd game with them, and then after George died, the club were just incredible. They allowed George's ashes to be buried at the ground. That's now become an enormous connection for me as his dad, to the point where I go to as many games as I can. I've had a season ticket for the last 2 years. I go with Will. We take a flag, which fans clubbed together after George died to have made. I knew I needed to go somewhere, but I didn't know where. And a friend from Stockport County mentioned Mentel, and he'd mentioned it 2 or 3 times. I thought, why not? I can't wait the amount of weeks that I'm being told I've got to wait to see a counsellor. I cannot do that. How am I going to fill that gap? One of the hardest things for men to do is to get through the door of a Mentel circle. I count myself lucky because I knew I needed somewhere to go to talk about George and my feelings of missing him and the grief. They'll never ask someone whose first night it is to speak first, purely because they want new members to just get a feel of how the circle works and how it then flows as a circle. There is a ball and it's orange. That ball basically represents the fire that all our ancestors would have sat around to discuss their feelings. The ball used to put me off when I first went because I thought it was a bit too American. But I understand now that it really gives a focus towards the person whose share it is for the rest of the group to really just engage with them. You will be offered the chance to speak, but there is no pressure. And if you come to 3 circles and 5 circles and every time you just come to listen, that's what helps you, and that's the most important thing. Shared experiences are what make Mentel work. I'm definitely a different person now than I was when I first went to Mentel, and that's in a positive way. I'm still learning about me. I think one of the things I've learned over my time at Mentel is that lots of men share very similar feelings without actually knowing it, and this comes out within a circle. So whether it is about your children or your family or your partner or your job or your separation, once you hear somebody else say something very similar to what you're feeling, you have that feeling of, oh, okay, it's not just me, it's not just in here. I'm never going to heal. There's always going to be that wound, if you like. But through Mentel and through friends and family and people from work and football supporters at Stockport County and everyone involved in that football club. They've helped me get to a position I just never ever thought I'd be in. I still have bad days, I still have bad weeks, but I have a little bit more of an understanding now of who I am and how I can cope with particular feelings. Going there just opened a whole new door for me, a new world of being able to try and understand myself. If it hadn't worked, I wouldn't have kept going. Simple as that.